Наши научно-исследовательские организации очень серьезно продвинулись на этом направлении.
Russia says that it's ready within weeks to register what could be the first effective vaccine against coronavirus. Russia was able to harness the broad personnel of its military together with some of its legacy from the Soviet Union of very good science. And so these things together, combined with the fact that it shortened trial times, it's only run 2 test phases as opposed to 3, which has happened elsewhere in the world. Basically what you have in the West is a 3-phase trial system. Russia's only gone through 2, and with much reduced numbers as well. And so what that leaves Russia with is a vaccine that could be registered in 2 weeks, but they're doing something which they call conditionally registering it. And that means that there will be another round of tests after it's registered, and those tests will happen in tandem with the voluntary vaccinations of health workers. If that third trial goes poorly, it can still be taken from the markets. I think a lot of the news about the Russian vaccines has been met with some skepticism kind of worldwide, because you see shorter testing periods, for example, smaller testing groups and things like that. Russia hasn't shared all of its data regarding the vaccine and the process that has gone into making the vaccine, so it's really hard to say exactly what's going on right now in Russia versus what's going on in the West. There's a sense that this isn't a full-fledged vaccine. Of course, Russian officials say that they're doing everything they need to create an effective vaccine.
Уверенность в вакцине должна быть абсолютной.
Here in Russia, a coronavirus vaccine is a very important question, because in spring, Russia had the second highest caseload in the world. And then on top of it, I think there's a certain desire for Russia to be seen as the scientific powerhouse that it was during the Cold War when it was competing with the West. I think it's also interesting to point out that there's been a lot of nationalism behind the race for a vaccine. I think what you see is a lot of countries basically pouring money into the institutes that they trust. It's really about just production quantities, because whenever you're first starting to produce a medicine such as this, you can only produce so much, and there's only certain labs that will be able to produce it. Anybody wants to get that first vaccine to vaccinate their own populations, Russia's healthcare workers will be the first ones to have the drug administered to them. We do know that there's some private companies who are already working together with the institute that's behind this vaccine to make sure that the production that happens will happen on a scale